Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah alayhi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good day and welcome to another interestingly enthralling episode of Global Arena on my YouTube channel, Global Arena TV. My name is Umar Isa Dandago. My guest today believes that human beings have been created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as wanderers. And that was why when the COVID-19 struck, people suffered all sorts of psychological imbalances as a result of the restrictions. Shehu Umar, who I call the traveler, has visited more countries than I can ever count in Africa, Europe, Middle East, and surprisingly in Latin America, a continent I think not many of our people have been visiting for the past many years, even though we look somewhat like some of them. I mean, there are many black people living in South America, Latin America, on the other hand. In countries like Brazil, of course, we have like Pele, one of the football legends who recently died. We have Ronaldinho also, who also looks like many people here in Kano, among others. So Shehu Umar is here with me on the show via Zoom to talk us through his inspiration for travels and also give us some pieces of advice, especially to those who want to be like him, who want to be travelers, who want to travel around the world, who want to go and explore what other people or how life is in other places and how people are living their own lives in many of the countries that we have on the globe. Well, Shehu Umar joins me now. Thank you very much indeed for finally getting to have time to be on my show.
Absolutely. أعوذ بالله السميع العظيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Umar Isa, you are such an inspiring young man, and I'm so happy to be with you. I've been an ardent follower of your programs, and I always appreciate anytime you send me anything to my WhatsApp for me to enjoy, and I've always enjoyed it. I'm so happy to be here and to share my little experiences I've had in the course of my travels. I'm really, really excited to be here.
Well, thank you very much indeed. You sound so humble, but by the time we get to the end of this program, I'm sure our viewers will be able to quantify and measure the enormity of experiences and knowledge that you have amassed and aggregated throughout your lifetime as a traveler. Of course, by the way, thank you very much indeed for your motivation. You have really been a source of inspiration and motivation to me. For years. We first connected in 2020 during the COVID-19. I just got a phone call. I have to share this with our viewers. I just got a phone call. And then you said you got my number from one of my elder brothers who I asked to help me with contacts of people who have been to Latin America. You just called me and thank you very much. We had a very nice conversation. And since 2020, since the time of COVID-19, you have been helping this program. And up to now, alhamdulillah, here you are on the show. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So let's kick off. To get the ball rolling, I think there is, it's better if we can start with a short biography of yours so as to build a kind of bridge from the earlier part of your life, okay, to date. So talk us through your biography. Who is Shehu Umar?
Okay, my name is Shehu Umar, like you have said earlier. I'm Fulani by tribe, from Jigawa State in Nigeria. Eleman to be precise, that's the name of my village. I was born to Alhaji Shehu Umar and Hajia Amina Umar, who is late. And
may Allah have mercy on her.
I was actually born in Lagos by my parents before we later moved back to Eleman. And I finished most part of my education between Kano, between Eleman and Kano. My primary education started in Lagos, which I finished up in Eleman before I came to Federal Government College Kano. And from Federal Government College Kano, I went to College of Art and Science and Remedial Studies in Kano also. Before I proceeded for my further education in Bayero University, Kano, my youth service in Lagos, and before I joined the public service in the year 2005. So it has been a very wonderful ride, and we can only say we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the good life and the ability and capacity to continue to move on the way we have.
Okay, let's nail it on 2005. Okay, we'll pick it up. Let me take you a little bit back. You said you studied at BUK. What did you study there?
I studied BSc Economics. I majored in Industrial Economics.
Industrial Economics?
Yes, I majored in it actually. It's
okay.
Yeah, so because at the final year, you have to major in one, either Agricultural Economics or Industrial Economics.
Okay, so you are now an economist. Do you feel like you are an economist, meaning you can give an analysis when it comes to the Nigerian economy or the economy of other countries, especially those that you have visited?
Well, it can, of course, from the knowledge you have gained in school, it can really make you to make one or two decisions based on what you have learned. But absolutely, ever since I joined the service, I was now deployed into the account department.
Okay.
So that one was almost changing my course. So because I even started my ICANN, when I found myself in the account department, I rose to become head of final account unit. And then that's, yes, that really made me have no choice or option than to pursue a professional course in ICANN.
What is ICANN?
That is the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria.
Okay.
Yes.
Meaning, what does it do?
Yeah, it will now make you a professional accountant. It will qualify you as a professional accountant. So it has also, because I don't have an accounting background, I don't have an accounting degree, I have to start what they call the intermediary. They have the foundation, the intermediary, but because economics and accounts share a lot in common, we start from the intermediary level. I was able to do it up to the level of professional exam 2. The last exams is the professional exam 3 that will qualify you as an accountant. It was at that point I realized, and then due to other personal issues, I decided to put a hold to it. And
okay, so you're not doing it?
Yeah, I think
you're not doing the
no, yeah, I can go back to it anytime because I've qualified up to the professional exam 2 level.
Okay.
Yes, good. So just for me to finish up with the professional exam 3, which will qualify.
Okay.
Yes. So later in life, I realized I think I want to continue in the path of public administration also. So I suspended my accounting pursuit of accounting professionalism, and then I concentrated on being a core public administration. From then on, I've attended a lot of courses, both within and outside Nigeria, and alhamdulillah, so far so good. As I'm talking to you right now, I'm an administrator in public service.
Oh, okay, very good. Which ministry are you working for? I understand that you are currently based in Abuja.
Yes, I'm in Abuja. I work with Shehu Science and Technology Complex. It's a parastatal under the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology in Abuja.
All right. Okay, that's very good. We wish you all the best, and we wish you Allah's blessings in your career.
Thank you, Isa.
So for how long have you been working for the federal government in total?
I think I have almost 16 to 17 years under my belt, actually. 16 years, I believe.
So you are currently in your early 50s?
No, not yet. Yes, not yet.
Like 47?
No, I should be 48 in November.
Okay, that's great. So we wish you all the best also in your life. What about family? You got 2, 3 wives and 10 children also?
You know, well, I can tell you I'm married, but I'm also a very family person, and I have kids, quite all right. So
good.
Yes.
3 wives. 3 wives. Yeah, I can know, man.
I wouldn't divulge into that because I'm a Fulani man, so we keep a whole lot of that in our pouch.
Okay, yeah, no problem. I will not press you to do that. Maybe Uwargida will say, okay, this Dandago man, when he comes for a lunch or dinner, I will take him.
Anyway, the only thing I can say is you encourage me to add more. So maybe you can have a
No.
good discussion with her.
So don't let your Orgida see this video, or there's going to be a trouble.
No problem.
Thank you very much indeed.
My
All
pleasure.
right, that's very good. So let's kick off. Let's dive deeply into this issue of traveling.
Yes.
How and when did you start traveling?
Okay, I'll give you a brief introduction of my inspiration into travel. I think I came from a traveling family, especially my father. Before my father was barely 30, he has traveled the world.
Wow.
Before he was
traveled the world,
he has traveled
as
the
in
world.
each and every country, in each and every continent that we have.
When you say someone has traveled the world, it doesn't necessarily mean you've been to each and every country. But when you say when you've done close to, even if you have done the different continents, and maybe even on each continent you've been to like 10 countries, it's as good as saying you have traveled the world.
Wow, excellent.
So he has been a major source of inspiration. And then growing up, I think our house in Lagos was very close to the air traffic route. So as a kid, it's always a thing of curiosity for me to stand up and be looking up to the sky and be watching those airlines and be asking myself questions.
Yeah, flying.
Who are those
Yes.
people inside those aircrafts? Where are they going to? I have a lot of questions in my head as far back as when I was a young man. It's almost fascinating to me to say, okay, where are these people going to? And I always want to know. That was the curiosity that really pushed me to have this passion to go to places. And like I told you, my father was an ardent traveler. He barely went to any formal school. He just had his Quranic education back in the village, but it never stopped him from being able to go as far as anywhere he wanted to go. So that was the first inspiration I had. Because to this day, he is 94.
That's good.
Anytime I have time, we used to sit down and analyze what he has done with his life, places he has been to, and we used to compare notes. I could remember the first time I went to Kenya, that is Nairobi in Kenya. I called him up and he said, "Where are you in Kenya?" Somewhere. He now said, "If I go to so place, I should check whether it's still the same," because he was last there in 1970.
Wow.
And what you should appreciate, you can imagine how
that's great
at that time, how the world was and how we have moved on now. So you can appreciate what they did. He could barely speak proper English, but he still managed. But in the course of those travels, he was able to learn a lot of English and he could communicate. But now it's so easy. I've been to some of these countries that people barely speak English, but with the touch of the phone, you can even speak to your phone and it could translate. And you're good to go.
So now technology,
it has made it.
Technology has made travel
absolutely
easy.
It has really made it very, very easy. I could remember the first time I was in Brazil. That was in 2013. 2013. I had a lot of difficulty passing my message across to the people because Brazil is one of the few countries that speak Portuguese.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they not speaking Spanish?
No. It's a Portuguese colonized country. And you know, Portuguese, Brazil is just one of the few countries that was colonized by Portugal. You know, Portugal is a very small country. So even though they reached most of the colonies before the British and before the Spanish, but due to their size, they couldn't hold those to those places. You know, even the Portuguese came to Nigeria before the British.
Yes, of course.
But they were so small in their size. They couldn't hold on to territories. So that's why they have to succeed to them to either Britain or France or Spain. So, but they were able to hold Brazil.
So,
and that was why to this day Brazil is one of the few Portuguese-speaking countries. Outside of Portugal, you have Mozambique, and you have Brazil, and then you have Cape Verde. Yeah, those are the few countries, and then Angola.
Cape Verde.
And Angola, yes.
Angola. Angola is in West Africa, right?
No. Angola is in more of Central Africa.
Okay. Mozambique is in South Africa.
It's in Southern Africa.
Southern Africa.
Southern Africa, yes.
And then Cape Verde is an island, right?
Cape Verde is an island off the coast of West Africa.
Okay. So you're telling me that you went to Brazil in 2013, you had difficulties communicating in Portuguese. What did you do? How did you improvise?
Yeah, well, one thing about one thing about Brazil is, and one thing that I always want to make you to go back is the diffusion. Brazil is such a melting pot of so many things. You just spoke about how there are a lot of slaves that were moved from Africa to Brazil. So, and then if you go to Brazil, what would surprise you is you're not going to see a lot of Black people. It's almost a 90% majority white people.
Wow.
So you even be looking for those Black
where
people.
are the Blacks?
The Blacks are there, but they're missing. It's a huge white population that they have. Most of them are European descent, from either Germany, from either Portugal, from either Spain, and so on. But all of them have mixed up to become Brazilians. And then they have the Native Americans, also white. But over time, those people you consider as Black, like you mentioned, Pele, the late Pele, great footballer, most of them, if you go there, you're not going to see them having the kind of complexion we have back in Africa. They've had some kind of mutation, over time, and they are more lighter in complexion than we are.
So when they come, we will consider them as white people.
Yes,
when they come to Kano.
Yeah, they can pass for that, actually. That was one of my first experiences when I went to Brazil. Yes. Yeah, I'm sure it has to do with the weather, with the topography, with so many other factors. They mutated a little bit.
Okay.
To their hair, Go ahead.
Yeah. What is the most beautiful thing you can ever remember about Brazil?
They are so kind. The Brazilians can understand what you're saying, but they can take their time to try to know what you want, and they will go out of their way to help you. There was the first night I was in Sao Paulo, actually, I took a cab. I was browsing through my phone to get a local restaurant that serves something that has to do with African food. So in the process of the pronunciation, I pronounced, and that was before Uber.
Okay, before Uber. 2013?
Yes.
So there was no Uber in 2013? No Bolt?
I doubt it. Yes. So I now pronounce the name of the place wrongfully to the cab guy in front of my hotel. He took me to another part of Sao Paulo and he dropped me off there. And Sao Paulo is one of the largest cities in the world. And it's around 9 p.m. at night. I'm quite a tall person, and I'm sure not so many people would like to meet me at night. So it was really baffling because I was trying to explain to one or two people that I met, okay, look, this is where I'm going to. They couldn't even understand my pronunciation. I could read it. It's written Brazilian, but I couldn't even understand. They couldn't understand what I was saying because that's a lot of barrier in pronunciation from their J, P to their R. The pronunciation is way different. But over time that I've been going there, I've managed to learn a couple of Portuguese, and it's exciting and interesting. So, and also,
to make it clear, to make it clear before you move on, I'm sorry to interrupt you. When you speak to your phone in English, then it will translate it in Portuguese, and then you play it to them.
Yes,
how did you do it?
This was in later years, but at the time I was there, even Google has not had that technology. But subsequently, it was even a Brazilian friend that introduced me and said, "Oh, hey, this is it now. We can talk better on this platform." But that is this Google Translate. So it's an app. Yes, you download it. And
so before the coming of Google Translate, what did you do? How did you communicate? Like I want to understand what you did, which made it impossible for you to.
It was a mixture of everything. It was a mixture of it was a mixture of sign language. It was a mixture of trying to pronounce as much as I can the Portuguese words. In fact, I even referred to Google on pronunciations. So I was very, very dependent on that. Yes, I was very, very intended on doing that, and I was fortunate, to do it. Yeah, so many countries I love visiting are not English speaking, but if you take, for example, Europe, a lot of people, almost everyone in Europe speaks English.
Okay, Europe.
I've been to France over 20 times, but I can't speak French. Yeah, I can't speak French because barely all of them can speak English.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
I like the French accent. I like the French accent when the guys are speaking English. For example, Umar, or this is something very, very important.
Yeah, they are more emphatic on pronunciation.
Yes, of course. And they pronounce TH similar to the way we pronounce it here in Hausaland. Something instead of something. This.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. So you did not find any language barrier in France and other European countries?
No, that is, you're not going to encounter any of those. And then because they are tourism dependent countries, most of them, they made sure that they want to make it as easy as possible for tourists, right from the trains down to the supermarket. Every hotel you go, there's an English speaking person. Even in Brazil, actually, in the tourist industry, you're likely to get people who speak English. Like in the hotels, you can get people who can understand what you're saying. So they made life a lot easier so that people can find it very attractive to come. But Europe is way more sophisticated when it comes to traveling. You are most likely going to have people who speak English everywhere. So, but on the plus side,
on the plus side,
it's not really a good thing. Sorry, on the downside to say, because you will not learn the language. Considering the number of times I've been to France, all the people I stay with, my friends in the French countryside and other places, we all speak English. So anytime they expect me to speak French, I was, look, you guys did not speak to me in French, so there's no way you expect me to speak French. So I really love.
So you cannot speak French now?
No, I can understand a little, but I'm not really fluent in it, actually.
Okay. So your Portuguese is much better than your French?
Yeah, I think I speak more Portuguese than French. Yeah.
Because of the pressure and the challenges you experience.
Because of the pressure, and I have a lot of unfinished business with Brazil. I think I've been to Brazil 7 times. Good. Yeah, and I still want to go back. And there's a whole lot to explore. It's a huge country. It's really not funny traveling across Brazil. I've traveled with the plane. I've traveled with by road. I've traveled, with whether it's the buses. They have a very well organized bus system. And
those large buses.
Luxury buses.
Macapolo, right?
Yeah, most of them are even made in Brazil. The ones you see in Nigeria are even made in Brazil. Yeah,
wow, that's great.
Yeah, because of the distance to Brazil, most of the companies have industries in Brazil because it makes more sense for you to come and have your industry in Brazil so that you can service the Latin American market.
Oh yes, of course, which is huge. The market,
huge industrial hub. I think Brazil is the 8th largest economy in the world. It's a huge country. When you talk of Sao Paulo, when you talk of Rio, you talk of Fortaleza, you talk of Santa Catarina, you talk of so many places. And these are massive cities. You take of Recife, you take of Bahia, that's in Salvador. This is where the slaves were taken to from Lagos and some West African countries. And so there's a large population of Black people of Nigerian descent in those places. I've been there twice. And
you've been there twice. Which country?
No, that's Bahia. It's in Brazil. It's on the coast.
Okay, Bahia is a city in Brazil?
It's a city, yeah. It's a state, actually.
Okay, they have this system of states, not cities and towns?
Oh, they have states. They have states. They have Sao Paulo state. They have Rio states. They have a whole lot of states. They have Santa Catarina.
Okay.
So like I told you, it's a huge country. You can travel 5 hours on flight in the same country.
Did you ever visit Amazon, the Amazon rainforest?
Of course, I've been to the Amazon. I've been to the river.
So what did you explore? What did you see there?
Well, like I told you, you keep seeing different things. You can just travel within 30 minutes radius, and you see a different topography. You see a different set of people. You see a different set of culture. The Brazilian people are well educated. Their education is a very wonderful. They have a very wonderful system of education, and most of it is free. Likewise, their healthcare system. So that's why the people are very easy to deal with.
Okay.
Yeah, the education is very qualitative because you can tell from the way people are.
Despite the corruption that has been bedeviled in the country, you got Dilma Rousseff, former female president of Brazil, who was accused of having corruptions, and she was impeached and removed.
It's quite interesting.
That was in 2017.
you are following up with the Brazilian politics. Actually, I follow up a lot. In fact, me and my Brazilian friends are always marveled as to how I follow up with the Brazilian politics. I was a huge fan of herself, and during that her election, that she was during when she was voted out by the parliament, she didn't lose an election. She was fully impeached.
So she was impeached and removed.
This day, I'm her fan, and we, her fans, always think she was betrayed by her vice president, who later succeeded her.
Yeah, to become the next president.
He became the next president before the next Bolsonaro came with the Trump-like approach.
Yeah, Trump-like approach, of course.
Trump-like approach.
Bolsonarism and Trumpism.
And, patriotism and so on. He trafficked so much in hate, and he said he's going to build the economy, and we didn't see any of that actually. But the only thing he did, I know, was he tried to open up Brazil more to foreigners. That one is
so that was a good idea for you as a traveler.
Yeah,
unlike Trump, Trump who closed the borders.
Yeah, who closed to a segment, to a certain category of people, actually, not to everyone.
Not Trump everyone, of course.
For some people, especially he picked up Muslims, he picked up Black Africans. So
he picked up Mexicans, who he called as rapists
and rats and so on. So
and drug pushers. Yeah.
At the end of the day, both of them did not really succeed to go for a second tenure because they failed to realize that the world is so global, and so many young people want to interact. So many young people want to feel other people from different places. It's so much of an interconnected world we live in. So young people.
One irony about Trump and Bolsonaro was that in 2020, January the 6th, there was that mob attack on the Capitol Hill in America, in Washington, D.C., Capitol Hill. And the following year, 2022,
it happened in
we saw the same thing in
Brazil. I described him as a Trump-like president. Yeah, he was
of course.
Trump. So that's why both of them, people couldn't have enough of them. And in the process of this, you build up very radical followers, far-right followers that are very, very radical in their approaches and very, very intolerant people. And I came across some of them in Brazil, though not as hardcore as the ones in the US, but those ones in Brazil, some of them you can even have a discussion with them, even though they knew I was not Brazilian, but we still had the discussion. And I told them why we always believe Lula da Silva was the best thing to have happened to Brazil. If as a president you were able to lift 25 million people out of poverty, I think you've made a mark. You can see how he came back to the presidency. Most people don't know also the history of Dilma Rousseff. Dilma was a strong activist back in the days. She even served the jail term for activism during the military era in Brazil. So these people have come a long way. Yeah, that's what people feel. They've come a long way. But I was actually personally devastated when she lost out as the president.
Yeah, definitely. Is it because of the strong system of education that they have, and that's why most of them are what they are? Like Dilma Rousseff, a strong activist and a leader who has made a lot of differences as a woman. I think she was the first woman to lead Brazil, a major country in Latin America. Is it because of the system of education that they have, and that's why they are what they are?
Yeah, education plays a huge role. It plays a huge role in shaping a society and its people. So one thing that made an impression on me to even find out, okay, what's behind these people and the way they behave was I realized, okay, education plays a key role. It plays a key role in how they have been shaped and how they were able to accept people into their country. Brazilians are one people that open up their houses for you